Welcome to Inside the Game on the National Soccer Network. Now, here are your hosts, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wangler.
Well, good morning and welcome back to Inside the Game, number 178 here on this Monday, October the 27th. It's been a few weeks since we've been on the air. We were busy, but I'm Jonathan Turner alongside Nathan Wangler and our producer Ryan Glinsky, and welcome back into Inside the Game, Nathan. I don't know. I don't hear him. Did you unmute him?
I unmuted him.
Hang on, Nate. You're muted. We can't hear you. Nope. Still can't hear you.
He's got levels. We just heard him. Wait. Mech Jack says Nathan has never sounded better.
Oh, I'm not hearing him. So is it in our system? Did you turn down our audio?
I didn't touch anything.
Yeah, you said he has levels, and he's not blue, he's green?
Yeah, it's all green.
Well, then something you must have turned off the computer audio. Take a look at our computer audio.
Oh, Lord. This is a great start.
It is a fantastic start. Maybe we should have Nathan just go on his own screen while we figure it out. Well, I don't understand what happened. We were fine. We'll just
we're under the speakers.
Not the speakers. We don't want to be on the speakers. We want to be on the Roadcaster.
Yeah, the Roadcaster Pro Chat.
No, on stereo.
Yeah, that's what I was on.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's continuing to get levels.
Yeah, go ahead and have him go. I'll figure it out.
Experience the thrill of the game like never before with NSN's Game Rewind. Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics, letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail. Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play, NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate. Call 586-304-4405 and start watching today.
Welcome back. Nathan, are you there? I still can't hear him.
I didn't touch anything.
I don't. This is so weird because we normally can hear. It's like we can see levels, but he's not. It's not leveling in our master. But yet people are saying they can hear him, right?
No. Mech Jack said he was making a joke. He cannot hear him.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So this is okay. So it's definitely not on our end. you talk now, Nate?
Test 1, 2, and 3.
Did it not?
1, 2, 3.
No.
Test 1 and 2.
No?
Still nothing coming through.
Craziest thing.
Still nothing coming through.
Welcome back to Amateur Hour here on Inside the Game.
All right. I'm gonna I feel like I should just dip out of the equation for the meantime. All right. Don't really know what to do. Test 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. Test 1 and 2.
But we couldn't hear him before. That was definitely not being able to hear him.
1, 1, 2, 3. Test 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3. Test 1. 3.
I can't hear anything. Nate, just continue to talk. Talk about what's been going on recently.
What's been going on recently? Well, the NISA Pro Cup was in Detroit. We did have full coverage of that. 8 days, 8 teams that ended up competing in
now.
the
Wait, we
tournament.
can hear him.
Los Angeles Force ended up going on to win it. Ironic that 2 California teams would play each other in the finals. I found that very ironic, but the LA Force did win it after winning the league in 2024. So LA has set a standard, and we saw that play out in real time in the NISA Pro Cup. Can you hear me, JT? No, I can't hear him.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go.
Woo! All right, look at that.
Well,
Do me a
we-
favor
It's
and
8
just
days
'cause
away,
it's,
and
go ahead and
it took
turn
us
it
8
down.
minutes to get the audio up and going.
I know. Well, again, we were fine. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know
man.
what happened between the time that we went.
That's
hit
going on the
live, but
blooper
we were all
reel.
Just chatting. Fine. Everything's fine.
It's going on the blooper reel.
Well, either way, welcome into 178, and we're excited to have you. It is amateur hour here on Inside the Game.
Yeah,
we'll
we're
bring it to you
terrible.
every Monday moving forward.
We
We'll throw
suck.
an audio issue at you, just to say, hey,
Just
how you
mix
doing?
it up. Yeah,
know,
yeah, exactly.
We haven't
You
done
know, you never know.
77 of these previously, but either way, hey, what does it matter? But what I was saying, as I was saying, hey, how are you doing? Nathan is we were away for a bit. We were covering obviously the NISA Pro Cup here the last 2 weeks. If you hadn't seen any of that, we did 15 games over 8 days, along with a whole bunch of other broadcasts that we did through hockey and things like that. So we had a lot of fun over the last couple weeks. It was exhausting though. I know that we were like kind of come back on like Wednesday, the 22nd, at least the thought process, and I just didn't have any energy left in me. And so I'm glad we took the rest a couple of days off, just kind of refresh a little bit, get rejuvenated a little bit, and get ready here for today. Now, I think it's important to talk about. It's October, right? We're 4 days from Halloween,
Yes.
and so do any of you like partake in the Halloween festivities, whether that be getting dressed up, whether that be maybe going to a haunted house or a haunted hayride, any of those things. Do any of us do that?
Just did the haunted house for the first time.
Like ever in your
Yeah.
lifetime?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. I've lived in Grand Rapids for my entire life now. I've never once been to the haunt before. So went there for the first time. It is pretty scary. They got me twice really good. The rest of it, I think it was fine. It probably would have been much better to go at a younger age, like not as aware of what's around me. Probably would have been a little bit scarier. Now that I'm on the doorstep at 30, it really doesn't jump out at me much the same way. Like I go in with the understanding that, like it'll be all good when I get to the end, but for the most part, it was really good. They only got me, there was a portion of it, they call it 3D scaring.
Oh.
So they have all these like sensory things, all these lights that like kind of makes the place come to life. It feels like you're walking through like the Matrix, and they put these 3D glasses on you. That portion got me a little bit because there was this part where you had to like walk across this bridge and there's like colors spinning all around it. And so when I feel like I'm walking sideways, that's when I'm probably most susceptible to scaring. And yeah, they got me good on that one. So that was good. In terms of the dressing up part, I mean, I used to like it, I guess. It's probably not my favorite anymore because even as adults, we still have to dress up, right? Because there's going to be like one social gathering. So that never goes away. But I feel like I've run out of like unique ideas now. So I'm just going to go to like Halloween City and just see whatever strikes my fancy and just be like, yeah, this is what I am. Because typically after the first 2 drinks, no one really cares what they're wearing anymore. So that's typically how that goes. It's the first 10, 15 minutes of you walking in going, hey, look, this is what I am. Okay, great. No one cares anymore. So when I was younger, though, it was great. I went as Joey Harrington for like 5 straight years.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah, how about that for a throwback?
Talk about an
That's a signature. It's my favorite jersey, man.
Yeah,
but Joey Harrington was
the only
terrible.
Monday Night Football game that man ever
Terrible.
played in was when he was playing the piano in Chicago. Isn't that right? That's the only one. Anyway,
What?
Man, he could throw dimes though on those long ball passes, man. On Madden, he could hit them their money. He could throw them long. The rest of it though was a nightmare. How about you, Ryan? Do you participate in the whole Halloween festivities?
When I was at school, yes. So for 4 years, I did. But
For like the last aunt and uncle, more so than I think with the rest of my family. But we tend to go to this terrified forest. It's you walk about a mile in the woods, and you pay to get scared. That's what it's funny, right? You think about what you're paying for, right? You're paying to get scared. So price of admission to walk into the haunted forest, non-VIP, by the way. First year we didn't do VIP, by the way. I'm a firm believer not waiting.
VIP for a haunted
not wanting to wait. It's the fast pass. Fast pass.
Okay.
I don't
saying VIP for a hayride is.
Well,
whoa.
Again,
Pause.
it's no hayride. It's you walk in the woods, but it's a fast pass because that line sucks. Anyways,
It does suck. Yeah.
So we it's $32 a person to go into the terrified forest, right? And so all in like $160 for us to take our entire family. And we get there and my daughter Zoe 12, Nate is 14, going to be 15 here this week on Wednesday. Our 17-year-old Brianna, and then of course my wife Bianca. We're all there with my aunt and uncle, and we're about to walk into this thing. And Zoe over the years, she used to have this. For $1 they would give like this little like glow stick, and that was like the monsters or the actors wouldn't come up to this person with this thing on and scare them. They would steer clear of them, so that way they could enjoy it without experiencing the fright. Now, I always go first.
Terror.
None of this stuff scares me. I mean, I just walk and everyone's behind me. They're all like getting they're getting screaming and they're yelling and then they're shoving and but I will say this: it is fun to get out there and kind of do that. You get to go into these environments. I haven't been in a haunted house in a number of years, but back when I was in my early 20s, we would go to the bar and then we go to the haunted house. Here locally, there's
haunted house after drinking. That sounds fun.
Erebus here locally was always been like that, like the world's largest indoor like haunted house, whatever you want to call it. They give you money too. You get your money back if you actually made it through and found the secret exit or something like that. It was like a money back.
That would be cool.
Right.
That would be really cool. Yeah, give me a challenge.
Yeah.
I will say, like, for darn near $40 to go into a haunted house, like, somebody better drag me into a room, throw me in a dungeon, like, something better happen for $40. I'm just saying, y'all better make it worth my money. Walk it in there. Like, I don't want to just yell once or twice. Like, I want to be like physically reprimanded and like chased down by ghouls and goblins. So. No, that's cool. Secret door.
No, it was. I think we got out of there and on the road last night about 9:30, and so we got back to my house around 10:45 and in bed by 11 to get up here at 4:30 this morning. But it's fun. I mean, all the great things about the fall can now kind of start to happen here in Michigan because again, if you remember here for the last couple of weeks leading up to about a week and a half ago, it was like 90 degrees.
That's fun.
And no, I mean, I understand Ryan saying it's fine. He's like, it's fine. It doesn't matter.
I like it being warm.
But
we don't have our transitional seasons anymore.
Huh?
We don't have our transitional seasons anymore. We're losing those.
Yeah,
That sucks. I don't like that.
Back a month now.
But like going from 74 to freaking 35 in a matter of a week is not great. But anyways, go ahead.
And that's the thing I was going to say is that, I mean, the best part about the fall is you went to the apple orchard, right? You think about this, right? What do you do as you get past Thanksgiving? Maybe if you're going to used to going out and getting a real tree, cutting it down, you go to one of those tree farms, right? And you don't want to do that when it's 70 degrees outside. You want to do that when there's light snow coming down. It's 40 degrees outside. Maybe it's 30, whatever. And you're like, then you get some hot cocoa, right? Reminisce, right? That's the nostalgic aspect of doing those things that are traditional. And, last night it was, 50 degrees outside. It's sweater weather, right? Your hoodie weather. You're wearing gloves maybe. And you're going out there and maybe drinking some coffee and you're walking the trail. Like that to me is what quintessential fall is all about. That's it right there. Now, that's Michigan. Maybe you live in Florida and you're going down to the beach and taking off your sandals and kick it back a little bit. But here in Michigan, in the Midwest, you want it to be 50 degrees right now, and you want to be walking outside with your gloves on. But maybe no gloves, but hot cocoa or hot chocolate to the woods while you're getting scared for $40.
It adds to that aesthetic. It all adds to the aesthetic. Yeah, you gotta have the cool, crisp fall wind to do a lot of these things. It just adds to the entire experience.
And then you throw in like the fact like what weekend was this weekend? It was homecoming weekend for Central Michigan, right? It was Michigan State up in East Lansing. It was we've seen that game with snow. We've seen that game with rain. We've seen that game in the 70s. It was mid-50s this weekend. It was a good night for football. And the better team did win, right? And who here thinks that Jonathan Smith's number is up at MSU?
I mean, there is such a thing to be said about like people, the entire community just wanting him out. I mean, I remember the first positive play from Michigan in that game, right? You got it wasn't a sack, but you get the strip fumble. They're able to recover it. The first camera angle shows 3 or 4 Michigan State fans celebrating the fact that Michigan State lost that fumble and Michigan recovered. That is the mentality. That's the attitude around this fan base right now. And I don't listen. Mike Valenti is such an up and down radio personality to me, but I love listening to him because I do think he's polarizing and I think he's great at what he does. And I think despite the fact that I might disagree with him on some things, I think he was spot on in what his assessment of what this game was for Michigan State, which is like this. They wanted to get embarrassed to prove a point that Jonathan Smith really never wanted to be at Michigan State in the first place. He took the money because he had to take the money. Why wouldn't you take the money? He realized where Oregon State was going. He didn't want to leave his alma mater, but he realized that they were going to fall apart because they're not a part of a conference anymore. And they're just kind of floating out there in Neverland in the college football landscape. He took the money, and now he's getting his teeth kicked in arguably the best conference in America. So Michigan State fans are looking in the rearview mirror and going, we had a chance to call Urban Meyer, and we didn't take our opportunity. So it's a complete state of disarray over there. It's a massive buyout, but yeah, I think he's done.
Yeah, and you even go back to how he got hired. Alan Haller, the old AD, did it secretly with no group of people with him interviewing. He literally just interviewed him by himself and was like, yeah, you can get the job and we can spend $1 million on a quarterback and Nate Childs to come over here. No. Jonathan Smith, also to your point by Valenti, he does this thing where he's like, well, we actually need Michigan State to lose this game. But if Michigan State were to win, he would have been on the airwaves, pompous, and doing all this. So Valenti set himself up to be like, well,
it's a win-win. It's a win-win for him. Yeah, there's no way of losing out there
for himself. But then today he'll probably be like, well, we needed to lose, so Jonathan Smith. So it was a lose-lose if you're a Michigan fan in terms of Mike Valenti, but for himself, he created a win-win. But no, I think Jonathan Smith is in over his head at this point, and he was promising out of Oregon State, what he did over there. But no, he's gone. He's gone. But that's 4 straight, by the way, Sparty. That's 4 straight.
Yeah.
It is 4 straight. While we were on hiatus for 2 weeks, a lot happened in the soccer world. We saw U.S. men's national team. They played 2 friendlies, one against Ecuador, the second against Australia. Now, we had our picks, and I do believe
I don't even remember.
I did pick the United States to beat Ecuador by a score of 2-1, and so I actually remember writing it down on this thing here, right? So 2-1. They did not. They tied 1-1 in that game, and then against Australia, I picked the United States to win 3-1, and they obviously won 2-1. So I did pick them to. I was 1-1. I guess is the way to look at it. I don't know if anyone had it. Ryan, did you ever win losing, or did you have them winning both games?
I had them winning both games.
Okay. How about you, Nate?
I think I was. I think I had them. If I'm not mistaken, drawing against Ecuador and beating Australia. I think that's the way I called it.
Well, that's
pretty
the case,
sure.
You obviously would have been correct and spot on for that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Dang, I should have said
No.
I predicted 1-1 tie against Ecuador and 2-1 win against Australia.
Yeah, we'll have to go back and look at the tape. The tape doesn't lie.
I know. I know.
The
that
tape doesn't lie. It exists out there somewhere. I'm saying.
The tape doesn't lie.
No, it does not.
It doesn't. No.
We also U.S. Youth National Team, the under 20s. They actually ended up falling short in that matchup. They had obviously beaten Italy in the round of 16.
Yes.
All right, and then they fell short.
To Morocco, who ultimately won the whole thing.
Yeah, and so which is I guess that's a good thing. You lose to the eventual World Cup champion. Which is great. Again, that was the furthest they had gone since I believe 1994, 1998.
Something like that.
Yeah. So.
And by the way, that's they didn't even have some of their best players with them too.
Yeah, they were missing 6 or 7 players.
I mean.
we keep doing.
It's getting out of hand.
We're so infatuated with 6-7. It's unbelievable. And every chance I can do that to Ryan. Because he's always sitting right back. I'm going to do that.
6-7.
Absolutely. We also had a chance to cover the Michigan State Youth Soccer Association State Cup here last weekend. It was 10 games over 2 days. We saw 50,000 views that weekend for youth soccer on our platform. Over 150,000 views over 2 days. And over the last 2 weeks, almost 220,000 views of all things.
I'm trying to find the porn.
It's
Which one right here?
Woo!
Wow, that's loud.
Yeah, you can turn it down a little bit, my guy. There you go. Yeah, bring that down. There we go.
There we go. Wow, that was really loud.
It was.
Everything's messed up over here.
We haven't used this station since in 2 weeks.
Well, no, the station's been used, just not for this.
For sure. For the Inside the Game hasn't been used.
For sure.
So we had that going on for us. A lot of ESPN broadcasts as well. We'll dive into a lot of that here coming over the next couple of days. So it's been a blast. We've had some coaches reach out about some more interviews. Western Michigan's women's side yesterday won the regular season MAC tournament, MAC regular season championship. Sorry.
Sorry.
This just in: Central Michigan still sucks
Sorry.
at soccer.
No, that's what they actually beat yesterday. They actually beat Central yesterday.
There you go. Oh, there you go. See, it's perfect, right? They did it. At
Hey,
home.
it's the battle. Hey, it's the battle for the what do they
Victory
call it?
Cannon?
Victory Cannon. Let's go.
Yeah, it's actually back on a Saturday.
Is this
This
Victory
week.
Cannon, can it pass through TSA or no?
I mean, I don't see why it couldn't.
Can't bring a cannon into the airport, guys.
But it's a
Sorry,
Victory
it's
Cannon,
not.
though. I don't
Well, the
It's a
cannon's only,
statue.
Like, big, so.
It's a statue. It's still a cannon. I don't know what you want.
It's fair. Hey, we come back. We're going to dive into a soccer referee here in Michigan getting into a shoving match on the sidelines. Let's talk about that here on the other side of the break. It's number 178 here on the National Soccer Network.
Are you ready to create unforgettable moments for your audience? NSN offers professional live streaming and full broadcast services tailored to your needs. From high-quality production to exceptional coverage, we ensure your game or event becomes a spectacle to remember. Book your next game with us today. Call 586-304-4405 to schedule your broadcast and let NSN bring the action to life like never before.
Welcome back into Inside the Game here on this Monday, October 27th. I'm Jonathan Turner alongside Nathan Wengler and Ryan Glinsky, our producer. While we were away on break, well, not really a break, but while we were away working hard on NISA Pro Cup and other games here back, on October 15th, a soccer official here in the great state of Michigan decided to take matters into his own hands. And we do have a video here that we're going to show. Let's. Do
you want the video first, or do you want
let's take a look at the video. I think it's good to put this in the video is going to show some context.
Okay, so the issue is it's all the way in the back. So for people looking on your screen, see the yellow in the back. I don't have I can draw anything, but it happens back there. This this linesman is running. You'll see him right there, and then all of a sudden, he just turns around.
Just shoves that kid to the ground. There's actually another video that shows it how far off the touchline the referee is actually running. Referee's name is Randall Smith. And this is happening during a playoff game. So this is Traverse City St. Francis. And I don't know, I think it's maybe Coldwater.
No, it's, I have it all.
There's Traverse City St. Francis, maybe Gaylord?
It's versus Gaylord, yeah, because that's a Gaylord player.
Yep. And so suspended by the MHSA for pushing a Gaylord soccer player in a playoff game on the 15th, which happened to be two Wednesdays ago. This was in the boys' high school against Traverse City St. Francis. Video showed the fourth official shove. It was a third assistant referee, by the way. Player down the sideline. Referee has been suspended indefinitely. And since this video and since this article came out, the referee had actually been charged with a misdemeanor of assault and battery, which carries up to $500 fine or a 93 days in jail. And so I think this is an opportunity for us to have a conversation about athletics, sports, refereeing, and consequences that happen as a result of the field. Now, we have seen in recent years where players, when they get into altercation or referee, absolutely. If a parent goes after a player, absolutely. You don't typically see two players who get into it, right, where you see that going in, unless it, like we've seen in hockey where a player's taken a stick, right, and gone that direction, and that has resulted in legal issues from going to court and whatnot. Now, again, it's not often that we have referees who are on the side of the one being accused of assaulting a player. So the question I have this morning, and obviously we can go back and forth about this, but is there a need for this to be in the court system? Is this something, again, not knowing all the context, should this be something we should be seeing prosecuted like we're seeing, or is this too far?
I think it's a little too far. I mean, I understand it was a knee-jerk reaction. I understand that pushing the kid wasn't obviously a cool thing to do, and I think he deserves to be suspended, and he deserves to take some time aside from refereeing, because if you're going to react that way to just simply getting tied up with a player, then it's clear to me that there's something else that's going on here that probably necessitates him stepping away from the game for a little bit and getting himself back to the right place. But if you're going to go as far as to try to fine him an exorbitant amount of money or even put him in jail or prosecute him, I mean, guys, we need to pump the brakes a little bit. I mean, I would be very upset if that was my kid. Okay, so I have to make sure I qualify all this by saying that. Like, I'm not justifying it, and I'm sure if the parents are mad, they are justifiably mad. But I think it might be a step or two too far. Now, would I be saying the same thing if it was a player pushing a referee? Probably. I mean, I don't like when people call for kids to get expelled from school or any of this other stuff. Like, you don't make a life-altering decision based off of one thing like that. Now, if he started swinging, if he was going to do some real damage to people, then yeah, maybe we're having a separate conversation. But I did want to say, kudos to the team for keeping their cool. Kudos, because this could have turned into a real sticky situation really quick. But it didn't, because I thought they handled themselves the right way. So credit to that coaching staff, credit to that team for not really going out of the way to make this an issue, because this would have been, I'm sure, a much larger story than what it already is if that was the case. But I think it might be just a little overkill in my personal opinion.
What are your thoughts, Ryan?
Oh, obviously the referee should be suspended. I think that MHSA did a good thing of nipping in the bud early. I mean, he shouldn't ref again. But
yeah, I mean, even that's fair. I mean, saying that like he doesn't get to ref another game would be, I even think that's within the realm of possibilities.
But the different charges, I mean, it's just a shove. It's not that like if that's the case, then the fight yesterday in the Steelers Packers game, then whoever shoved the Packers player from the Steelers, then he should have a assault battery charge or whatever it is. I think it's just too far at this point. Yeah, he shouldn't have done what he should have done, but I think the punishment should just be you just can't ref a soccer game again. And I think that's completely fine. Apologize to the kid, apologize to the family and the school, but other than that, I don't think there should be anything more.
I think here's the biggest thing, right? And obviously we don't know what we don't know. I don't know the history of this team with this referee, right? Again, I don't know what was being said on the sideline. You don't know, and so I think that ultimately might be where some of the underlying maybe foundation to why this even happened in the first place would be there. But as a former official, I can tell you this. All eyes are already on you, right? The second you walk up to the field, how you're dressed, how you hold yourself, the things that you say, and how you communicate to teams, all those things are under a microscope. And so you are the one charged. The three referees are the ones charged with managing the chaos and keeping the game in a place in which it's safe. And so just like we hold our police officers and our first responders to a standard, right? The same thing is true when it comes to officials. And I'm not putting them in the same ballpark because they're obviously very different. But again, we're talking about managing a lot of different things. And referees, just even though they're human, are supposed to be able to maintain their composure, their discipline, and handle the emotions of the moment, good, bad, or indifferent. And so for me, my perspective on this is that the second an adult puts their hands on a minor, all bets are off. Now, if you're protecting yourself, it's another thing, right? Now, again, we could argue, well, he got tripped. According to the report, the referee kind of tripped or stepped over this player and then came back and shoved him. Well, okay, there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. So as a referee, you would call over the center referee, who would take care of that. They would red card, give the yellow card to a coach. I mean, whatever the case might be. Ask that player to leave, whatever it is. Shoving them is not part of protocol, right? It's not. And so you put your hands on a minor, all bets are off. I don't care if you're a referee, you're a coach, you're a parent, doesn't matter. I mean, what is the difference between the referee shoving that player and a mom coming out and shoving a player down on the field? Just take away the him for a second. Is there a difference?
Right.
There is no difference. And the law will look at that and say there's no difference. And if we here at the same time are saying we need to protect officials, right? We've seen referees get killed. We've seen referees get assaulted. We've seen referees just verbally and physically abused across the sports landscape here in this country, around the world. And here we have a referee who's taking it into his own hands when we could argue that it wasn't really that big of a deal. Again, taking out any context or what happened in the past, not knowing, it could have been a blow-up thing but then again, the assigner who is assigning those games would be like, you're not going there, Mr. Smith. You've had problems there, so we're not going to send you to that school. Right? So, you put your hands on a minor, all bets are off. And yeah, he has lost the right to referee high school soccer ever again. Because if it was flipped, if this young player took a two-handed shove to the referee and sent him to the ground, what would happen to that player?
Yeah.
Right? And and again, that's a minor. And would they be held to the same standard as the adult? No. Now, if they're closer to 18, probably, but most likely not. We saw that football player. Was it in Texas that went out there and bull rushed the referee after being tossed off for unsportsmanlike behavior? Beelined right towards him. I mean, that kid's career is over with. And so, yeah, all bets are off when you do that as an adult. And again, there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. He did not follow protocol, but this also herein lies the problem with high school soccer. And we haven't talked about it on this show at all, to be fair. We've talked about refereeing, but we've never talked about the discrepancy between a United States Soccer Federation trained and licensed referee and that of a Michigan High School Athletic Association referee. They are not one and the same. As a matter of fact, my soon-to-be 18-year-old daughter, Brianna, who will turn 18 in September, she could go, as soon as she turns 18, actually at 17, she could go on the website for the Michigan High School Athletic Association, take a test, pay $55, and become an official. You don't have to have any experience or knowledge about the sport whatsoever. Didn't have to play it, didn't have to do anything. Now, you could argue and say, well, is that good? Well, in our current environment, having officials is better than not having officials. But in the perfect environment, what would you want? You'd want to have well-experienced, well-educated on the sport, former players participating as referees in the game. I don't know this referee, but is it possible he was just a high school referee and not licensed to do U.S. soccer? Possible, right? Because, again, every year in U.S. soccer, what do? You go to a research class. You take a test every year. Boom, every year you go there. If you want to become a U.S. soccer referee, you have to go through a 4 or 5 week course. You've got to do this, do that. There's a bunch of steps that you have to do. Got to keep getting licensed every year. Now, you got to get licensed at the MHSA as well, but you take a rules test, and that's it. The threshold and the benchmark that you are being measured are not the same. And if you are rising the ranks as a referee, which a lot of young referees want to do, you go and you're getting upgraded. You're being assessed after every game. Like, I can almost guarantee you that 90% of your high school referees have never experienced an assessment, have no idea what that even means.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 90% is too high, but the percentage of referees who only referee at the high school level do not get assessed, have never experienced that process. And so, yeah, there's a significant difference. And I hope that the MHSAA and governing bodies around the country when it comes to the high school game would take that part more seriously. Because, again, me going and getting licensed by U.S. Soccer, going through that every year, being assessed, being invited to tournaments, doing those things made me a better official and made me a better high school official.
Yeah.
And without those things, you fall to the wayside and things like this can happen.
Yeah, well, and the other thing, and I get the hypocrisy side of it too, and that's a really good assessment, and that's kind of why I worked in if a player did this, would we be reacting the same way? Probably not. But you go into this, and I'm sure you know this, JT. You go into refereeing, umpiring, whatever it is. You have to accept that there's more expected out of you than there is necessarily out of everybody else around you. Like there's a standard when it comes to being in that spot that you have to abide by, that you have to adhere to. And I mean, Ryan, you and I were sitting there for the NISA Pro Cup final. And, sometimes those players can get very passionate, especially in a matchup like that. And, it's cold outside and they just want to win and go. Lots of passion. They just want to win and go home. But obviously, that's a referee that has done professional matches. Like he's up there in terms of the pecking order. But they weren't very nice to him, and I can only imagine that probably adds up over the course of 90 plus minutes. But there's an expectation you have to keep your cool, right? You have to have a longer fuse if you're in that position. So there's no real excuse for it. And so to say that he shouldn't be reffing any more matches is fair. I always stop shy of saying bring down the hammer, charge him. But again, it is a minor, and that's you were spot on with that too, JT. Because that's you're right. And like I said, if I was the parents, this would be a different story. It would be completely different the way I'm looking at it. But you're right.
And again, we can talk again. I don't know the context. I think context is always important because at least it allows you to understand the mindset of what's going on. Like, I mean, there's a reason why we have laws that we do. There's a reason why there's things like involuntary, involuntary. There's a reason why there's second and first degree thing, because there's things that you have malice, or you lost your moment. There are things that come up, and I'm not going to sit here and say that we're all human beings. And if everyone doesn't know what it's like to be in chaos, just go down any road at any point in time during your day driving a car, and you'll see the emotional responses of human beings today is vastly that different of what it was 20 years ago. Our fuses are so much shorter than they've ever been. And so I don't, for 1 second, I don't believe for 1 second this is just some isolated moment between this and that player or that team. This looks to me like this is something that was just building up and building up and building up. And ultimately, it exploded in this shove. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it justified. And this referee has lost the right to put on a referee uniform ever again. And I don't want to be the one to say that you should cancel something like this, but that unfortunately you can't put your hands on somebody, because again, if this was flipped, this player would never be allowed to play high school sports ever again. As they shouldn't, because if it was flipped, that's what we'd expect. And so I think that's an important thing to acknowledge. But I also think it's important to understand how this happened, what went wrong, and how do you fix it, right? How do you fix it? One is if you're the assigner of this referee, and and we've all, me included, I know that there were games I was walking into that I shouldn't be there. Like there was earlier in the season, there was an issue we had with this team, and they thought I was the worst referee in the history of the planet. And when they see me walking up, what's the first thing they think of? Oh, God, here comes that ref. Here he comes, here. Oh my gosh, not again.
To be fair, that's what I think when I see you. That's what I think too.
A clown. This referee's that. So you're immediately and if the assigner's job is to understand that, and also to be in the ear of coaches and administrators to understand where things are at. And if a coach is like, and I can tell you again, coaches they should not have a ton of power when it comes to assigning. But if you're hearing from the same coach all the time a problem with, Joe Smith or whoever is the referee, just send that referee someplace else. Just swap them. Swap them. And then guess what? That problem solved. If this person has a problem with a particular team, send them to the other side where they won't be impacted. You won't have that situation. So there are things that can be done to solve this, so that something like, because again, it just seems odd that out of nowhere, a referee is just going to go shove a kid down, right? This doesn't seem, there's something else that happened that led up to that referee went from, 0 to 100. And I don't believe it was an attempted tripping that caused that to be the case. I feel like there was some chatting, there was some back and forth, there was a bunch of stuff. And so I think that's what led to this. Again, I'm sure it'll come out in some kind of a courtroom if this person doesn't plead guilty, which you would imagine he would plead to a lesser charge and be done with it. But I've been wrong before. We're going to step aside here, come back here. We're going to dive into some mailbag. We were gone for a bit. We have a lot of comments, I'm sure, that came through. Let's dive into some of those here from TikTok land and all of our social media. Don't go anywhere. 178 continues here this morning on Inside the Game.
The Flint City Bucks are Michigan's top soccer franchise with 4 national championships, 9 conference titles, and 15 Great Lakes Division titles. They have produced 107 players for Major League Soccer, and they focus on attracting top talent and shaping soccer's future. Michigan Bucks Academy joins NLS Next new competition tier starting in September of 2025. This offers elevated levels of play and flexibility for high school participation. The Academy will provide premier development, high-performance training, and exposure to scouts through regional tournaments and MLS Next events. For more information on tryouts, training programs, and key updates as we prepare for our first season in MLS Next new tier, visit MichiganBucksAcademy.com.
Welcome back here to Inside the Game here on this Monday morning. Jonathan Turner alongside Nathan Wangler, Ryan Glinsky. And we were gone for a bit, and I know that we continued on our social media path on TikTok and continuing to push out our shorts. And I know that we had a ton of comments coming in here over the last couple of weeks. And so, Ryan, let's dive into some of those here.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I'm just trying to find videos where there's a ton of comments on there. But this one, this is, I don't even remember when we talked about this, but this was the win at all cost mentality in youth soccer. Oh, so this dates back to
177.
No, I'm saying when Kodog15 commented. This is just like any business, especially sales. If you're not setting up proper expectations about how things are going to happen and how things are going to go, then the communication is the issue. That's why most kids and parents get fed up, because they are fed lies from coaches about development. And then when the games come, all that matters is winning.
Yeah, I think that the parent today is much more educated when it comes to youth sports than they've ever been. And so I think that we're putting a lot of power in the hands of clubs. And to be fair, I think it almost entirely falls on the shoulders of parents. Again, you're the one cutting the check. Yeah. You're the one sending your kids to this team. And so while you can make a bad decision, while you could be ill-informed or misinformed and make a bad choice, then go someplace else. Right? The problem is for a lot of it's emotion. This is all emotion. It's your child. Just like we talked a moment ago about that kid getting shoved down by a referee, mom or dad emotionally pissed off and are going to do everything they can to make sure this person pays the price, whether that be from their wallet or whether that be in a jail cell. Like, that's how that's going to work, wow. Right? And so that's an important thing to acknowledge. Yeah. Now, when it comes to this aspect, you're going to sit here and tell me that mom and dad who are paying $5,000 and are traveling all across the country with their kid doesn't know what's going on, or doesn't at least believe to know what's going on? I don't buy that. I think what happens is this: we're blinded. We're blinded by Johnny. We're blinded by Susie. We think Susie's going pro. We think Johnny is going to make it to the Big Ten. That's the problem. And we think that at 4.
Yeah.
We see them bursting out with a ball and like going a little speed. Like, oh, look at that! Wow, look at Johnny go. He's gonna play one day for a Big Ten, Michigan. You're gonna be battling, I mean, like that's how we think as parents. And then as they get a little older, some coach says, "Yeah, your player's pretty good." Then a couple years later, it's affirmed, player's pretty good. It keeps happening. And then when your kid doesn't go Big Ten, you're all like, what the hell? I thought my kid was the best thing ever. No. It was just every coach above them and below them thought they were just really good at that point.
Yeah.
For their age, they're good. Not the best, but they're good. Yeah. That's the problem. I think we get stuck in our emotional land. And I think that also we thoroughly enjoy being around other people. And I think that moms and dads also like being around other moms and dads. And so you get into these environments where mom and dads are all hanging out, they're all talking and love it. We're going to tournaments, drinking booze together. We're all, and it costs $5,000. And, some kids are there to be, the next superstars, while their kids are there just to play fun and maybe play with their friends. And somewhere in there, we get lost in the fact that our kids aren't going to the highest levels of the sport, and we get pissed off and start demanding answers. So,
yeah. I think parents like surrounding themselves with yes men just like everybody else does. I mean, you don't want to hear no. Like, that's a hard thing to hear, especially when, your kid is all that you think about. You want them to be successful. You want them to be happy. And I understand that from a parent's perspective. I would understand that too. But, give my dad credit. Like, he was always like really honest with me about where I was and what I was capable of, and maybe to a fault, but it's like, I remember asking him once, hey, do you think, because I used to love playing baseball, obviously, you think I could make the Major League Baseball? He's like, he's like, if you keep working hard, but he was honest in his assessment, and he refused to spend the $8 billion to have me play travel baseball, because he liked me doing different things, but he also realized like what's in it for us if we're going to invest all this money and we know that, whatever. So I think people allow themselves to be fooled because they want to be surrounded by yes people, and they're allowing a lot of these clubs to kind of prey on their emotions and prey on their wallet at the same exact time. Because if we tell you your kid's the best, you're probably going to be susceptible to spending more money, which means that's great for business. That's great for everybody involved. So I think there's an element of that there too.
Next one. This one is more USA men's national team related. Again, I made a video like a week ago about some USA takeaways from the camp. Again, I don't remember what I said. But Leonardo says Haji Wright would be a great super sub if he can only get one or two chances a game. I bet you he turns one or puts one in the back of the net. And then he also says thoughts on other backups like Diego Luna and Christian Roldan. He says I'm not convinced Luna can hang with the first team. And I 100% agree with that statement.
Yeah, I would back that up too. I mean, at least in the international windows, the two last ones that we've seen, he's he almost put an assist on a silver platter against Japan. But outside of that, I don't necessarily think he's proven that he can hang with the first team. I think he should still be on the roster. But with Haji Wright, and I know that you had mentioned, Ryan, that you thought that maybe I jumped the gun saying that like he's our guy just through that one match, which I probably did. But it's nice to be an alarmist because you get social media content creation, you get people engaged when you drop hot takes. So I'm okay with it. But I still think he proved something in that match, and I still think he would be a solid super sub or a late substitution. If we need a late spark, I don't know. I think he's shown that he could be exactly that in just the form that he's been in 2025. And I think that match was very telling on what he could do. Now, he's not the striker, but I don't know. I don't think it's crazy to think he would be the second best option off the bench in terms of replacing Flo Balogun. So it's just my assessment.
I think first and foremost, whatever we do or whatever we talk about as it relates to this sun, by the way, is just coming.
I noticed that you're like talking away from the mic. Now you're leaning right.
I'm trying to get the sun on my face. I think it's important to acknowledge the fact that there's still a ton of time left, and a lot of things are going to happen between now and June. And injuries. Pulisic is hurt right now, and he's out for a few more weeks, right? And hamstrings are one of those injuries too that are like they can hamper you up for a long time. They can be They can be bothered, and even if you're recovered, you're still being hindered by them. So, again, knowing that and knowing the fact that anything can happen, I think that what we're seeing from these players is that there are players who could fit into those moments, who maybe otherwise wouldn't be your regular starters, wouldn't maybe backups, but could do some really good things. I saw some really great stuff out of Luna in both of those games. In Ecuador and in Australia. And things that I don't know if I saw them before because I was intentionally looking at him. And I do have some more, I'm more comfortable with him in the middle of the park. I'm more comfortable with him on the ball than I was in previous conversations. So I think both those players have an opportunity to possibly make this roster and more importantly have an impact. And so regardless, I wanted to, I think it's important. But let's get into the question of the day here as we wrap up here this first episode back.
Yeah, real quick, if Diego Luna is playing meaningful minutes for us, we're cooked. Just saying that right now. But the official sponsor of Question of the Day is Salt Athletic. None other than them. Use promo code Ennison15 to save 15% off. Visit saltathletic.com today or scan that QR code. TikTok 2 for 1 today, just with the noises. But question of the day, if I can hit it right this time. Pause. Question of the day: does Christian Pulisic injury concern you?
I think because of the type of injury it is, I'm concerned. And to your point, JT, I mean, hamstrings are like that's one of those, like, hamstrings, knees, backs, like they're going to stick with you. And they're going to hinder you, not only obviously in the meantime, he's going to be out for a prolonged period of time, but even when he comes back, there might be a mental effect there. maybe he's not completely back. What if he re-injures it? Because hamstrings you're very susceptible to re-injuring hamstrings. We've seen that so many different times. And I even know a couple of players personally that, growing up, that just for whatever reason, the hamstring issue would never go away. I think the fact that it's happening now is good. We're not really close enough to the World Cup for it to be a glaring concern. And it also, again, gives more opportunities to Mauricio Pochettino to try out new stuff because you don't feel like you have to play Christian Pulisic. But the type of injury it is a little concerning to me, because this could really, this could be an ailment that kind of sustains itself on down the line. And we need him to be at top form going into the World Cup. So it's not a red flag yet. I'd say it's probably a yellow flag in terms of my level of concern. But again, the type of injury is the most concerning piece about it.
Yeah, I'd also say it's definitely a little bit of concern, but mine mainly comes from, how well he's been playing as of recently in terms of AC Milan, and he's played a little bit better with the USA. And I just think that's what I would say concerns me the most is, he had a great run of form, and now he has this little setback of a month injury, and a hamstring injury, as you mentioned, could be a little bit tough to come back from, but it's just the timing, I think. But if you're going to have an injury with a key player like that, and middle to early October, and when we have coming up next summer, I guess it's fine, but I think just in terms of the form, that's what concerns me the most.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any concerns. I keep saying this. I think that we're relying too heavily on Christian, and I think that's ultimately, I think where we are as a country, kind of like we're being hindered by it. I actually think we play better without him right now, and so there are moments where I think Christian fits into the whole scheme, and he does a really good job for us. But if I watched that game against Ecuador, we scored our goal without him. Right, and again in that game against Australia, we scored both our goals without Pulisic. So I think that I think we're playing better without him. And so you want him to get better. I think we're a better country with Pulisic when he's at 100%. I also think we're a better when he fits into the mold the way he's supposed to. But I'm not concerned. I think it gives a chance for players to step up who maybe otherwise wouldn't, and give them a chance to maybe have a fighting chance to make this roster.
Yeah.
But that'll wrap up this morning's first episode back here of number 178. We'll be back at it again here tomorrow. Same time, same place. But that is Nate Wangler. I'm Jonathan Turner alongside Ryan Glinsky. Again, don't forget to subscribe, like us, share with your friends and family. We'll be back here tomorrow for number 179 here of Inside the Game. From the biggest matches to the hottest takes, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wangler bring you the stories, the analysis, and the edge you won't get anywhere else. Streaming live weekdays at 9 a.m. on YouTube, Roku TV, Facebook, Twitter, and all major platforms. No filters, no fluff, just real talk, real soccer. This is Inside the Game.